Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Walker Bee Ranch. So today I wanted to take a second and talk about my bee economics. I'm not saying this is how everybody should do it or can do it. I'm just telling you what works for me. Obviously, I'm not a wealthy guy. I just try to make decisions that make sense for me financially. So everybody knows I came out of winter with 12 colonies and done a little bit of few maneuvers, and let me see if I can kind of count them up right now. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Let's see, 27. We got, I think this is, right, 28, 29. Okay, won't count that one. 30, 31. 32, sorry, 32, won't count that one. 2, 33, 34, 35. 35 colonies as we sit right now. And so we'll talk about how we did that. And may not be the most interesting video, but you know, I've done a few things this year to increase in population, right? You guys have seen the Great Wall of Gear here that's diminishing, right? We've expanded the apiary. And yes, it is a bit messy right now, but how did I do this on the budget that I have? So we're gonna throw this little chair down and we're gonna talk about it for a minute. So it was pretty important that I'm able to make honey, and I'm able to increase my yard and become more self-sustainable. Obviously, you know, queens and stuff like that. So right now, what I try to do, and let me see, fix the camera's bugging me. All right. So what I try to do is, first of all, even if you don't like social media like Facebook, you got to be on Facebook, because you should be in your local community groups, whether you participate a lot or not. That has become crucial in me being able to sell the honey that I produce. And that has helped generate an income. Now, once I started selling the honey, I had a little bit of money to do a few things, right? Like buy queens, like yesterday. So with the queens, what I did is I bought the queens at a price that, that's why I bought 25 queens, because the 25 queens gave me a price break of about $5 per queen. So that's not a lot. I mean, it was, instead of, if I would have went there and got one, it would have been $33. If I would have bought 10, it would have been 30. And buying 25 got me 28. So where if I would have just got 20 queens, it would have been $600. Getting 25 of them was $700, but it actually lowers the cost per. Now, with that being said, I contacted my beekeeping mentor. I asked him, did he want any queens before I went down? And he did, in fact want some queens. He wanted 5. He ended up buying 7. And then the another friend of mine wanted 3 that was going to go get them anyway. So you know, 3, the price he would have paid for 3 would have been 33. So I made $5 a queen off of that. But it's not, for me, it wasn't about how much I'm making off the queen, but I did put on social media I had queens. Now they're gonna pay a different price. I mean, if you order online, you're gonna pay $40, $45 a queen. Well, I'm gonna charge you $40 a queen, and you're gonna come to my yard and pick it up. So that's kind of a little bit of profit margin. And all that stuff is doing is lowering my overhead cost. Right now I've got queens in every one of my colonies. I went through every one of them yesterday to make sure they were all queen right. If they weren't, they got a queen. I made splits, healthy splits, because I made some nukes over there, and strengthened up some of the other weaker splits that I had from before, weaker nukes. I strengthened them up, made sure they had a good queen, and letting them roll. So that's some, you know, for me, it's all about lowering my overhead. And the more, like, I've got another person coming to get a queen this morning. The queen sales aren't about generating a bunch of profit for me, because I don't make the queens. I have to go get them. So it's more about lowering my overhead and my expenses here. Same thing with getting cheap nukes. I got a few cheap nukes. Some of them were really strong. I pulled splits off of those nukes and made another nuke, and made manipulations on all these other colonies behind me to equalize and to make splits. Well, I've got someone coming Saturday to get 2 nukes. So 2 of those queens that I got are in those nukes right now that I made up. And then they're strong with brood and larva and everything. So they're gonna be in there for a few days, and they should be doing fine for them. Now, those nukes cost me nothing other than the queens that I'm putting in there. But if I would have taken a queen, I would have been replacing her anyway. So it's kind of a trade-off. They got a brand new mated queen, and my old queen is undisturbed, really. And so that's money that that I'm making this weekend. So I've already made all my money back from my queen purchase, if that makes sense. So I'm constantly trying to cycle and turn that money, and I still have honey to sell, so it's not like that has stopped. So I've got that going. Now I've got a few queens I'm selling. I've got my nukes set up. So the nukes and the over here, if I need a queen, I'll go to my nuke and grab the queen and take it over here. If somebody else needs a queen and wants to pay for a queen, I'll go to a nuke and cage the queen for her or him, and allow them to buy a queen. So, and then let my nuke make a queen, right? So I always have resources to feed my honey crop over here, which, you know, is kind of suspect this year, but yes, to feed the honey crop that's hopefully going to be produced. So that's kind of the economic mindset that I use, is that I'm starting with a little bit of money that I started with when I started, made honey, sold the honey, and then I've got to figure, if I've got $1,000 that I made from honey, well, I'm trying to grow that $1,000. Obviously, if I buy boxes and stuff, it's the expense going out, but I kind of think of it, well, that could be a new colony that will then produce honey. So there's just got to be that means to an end, if that makes sense. So that's just kind of the thought process that that I try to employ when I'm doing something, as far as my bee economics and my bee math, right? It's got to make sense. So essentially, like the queens, if I sell queens and I'm making a little bit per, every queen I sell is lowering the price of the queens that I actually used. So, and you know, if they're released and they're laying and then somebody needs a queen and I take it out, then they're generating more queens for me. So it's kind of helps stabilize what's going on. So that's kind of how I look at it. Again, there's people that just have money and credit cards that they use. I don't use credit cards on this. If this thing fails tomorrow, I'm just out my time and my honey money and my initial startup that I started with, and you know, obviously the money I've rolled into equipment and stuff. So I'm probably not going to do that, but at that, the same thing is at this point I feel pretty good where I'm at, being able to make the process work. You know, it's kind of like a colony. You got to have all stages of brood, larva, you know, nurse bees, forager bees, scout bees, a queen bee. You got to have the whole ecosystem. If you don't have one thing or another, it kind of throws it off, which is what I'm doing here. I've got my production hives and I've got nukes, and the nukes I'm trying to grow up, right? But if I need resources out of these resource colonies, I don't hesitate to grab what I need out of those. And you know, that's why you're like, well, Bob, you had 15 queens. Why did you only go up like 4 colonies? Because I strengthened other ones. And hey, look at that hawk, just flew over me. Great. Probably looking for my chickens. But the main thing for me is making it through winter. Every year, my goal, I'm already thinking about making it through winter, and we're still in the summer, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. What can I do to make my business make it to the next year? Which, when I first started, I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking, oh, I've got bees, let's put them in the box, let's have some fun, let's make some honey, and they'll take care of themselves. They can, but they also can't, you know. And the difference, I guess, between the way I look at it and maybe a lot of people is, this is money that I've worked for, that I've put in time, I've put in sweat equity, and we're working to grow. You know, I don't do pollination, not that I won't ever, I just don't do pollination now. So there's basically 3 aspects that I can make honey with, right? Or make money with, honey money. All right, so there's about 3 aspects for me at this level to where I can make a little bit of extra money to help supplement my cause here. One is honey, one is bees, and one is queens. Again, I haven't grafted, so the way I'm doing it is, if somebody wants a queen, if I have one, I'll just take it out of a nuke and let the nuke make themselves a new queen. Now that sets you back a month, right? So it's kind of crazy, but I could do it if you know, it's 40 bucks or however much you charge in your area. A nuke, 200 bucks, which just take a split off a colony. Now there's consequences, right? If I take a split off a honey production colony and to make a nuke, then my nuke is slowing down. So, I mean, my honey production is taking a little bit of a hit. So it's really kind of a juggling act, but you can definitely make money with honeybees. But, you know, like Ian Stepler said the other night on our live chat, was you got to keep your bees alive. First and foremost, keep the bees alive. And then we'll make splits. And if we need to, we'll sell splits. If we need to, we'll sell a queen. If, you know, once we get the honey, we'll harvest it and extract it. I actually had someone ask me yesterday, which they said they don't have that much extracting equipment. However, they make a lot of honey because they're a big nuke producer. And they literally told me yesterday, well, how about I just load all my supers up, you extract them, and we split the honey, because honey is not his market. Honey is my market right now. So so we're looking at doing stuff like that too. So little bit of extra work. Free honey means free money. So that's kind of how I run things right now, and that could change. It could change tomorrow. I'm trying to reduce the amount of feed I'm putting out. Obviously, we'll evaluate it when the dearth hits and worry about that then. But right now, that's kind of how I'm looking at it, is I'm just juggling everything. I'm balancing it and trying to turn, just compound the money I have. Does that make sense? So sold honey, got money, bought queens, sold queens to help establish my business here. And that's what we're trying to do. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you. I really appreciate you guys for watching. My channel hit 200,000 views not long ago, and I'm looking forward to doing more, and hopefully we'll do some update videos real soon. Thank you.